It is my honor to tell you more about Nancy Rooney, a CASA whose compassion, dedication, persistence, and professionalism have made a lasting difference for the children she has served over the past 7 years. In her time as a CASA, Nancy has worked 3 cases involving a total of 8 children. And during that time, Nancy has shown herself to be someone who is a consummate professional, who's able to establish great working relationships with everyone involved in her cases. Now, there are so many things that I want to tell you about Nancy. In fact, I admit that the first draft of this speech lasted about 7 minutes, and the limit is 3. So just know that there are many, many things that I would love to share about Nancy if I had more time, but I will have to keep it brief. One of the qualities that I admire most about Nancy is that she's a person who is naturally curious. And being naturally curious allows her to almost seamlessly learn about the children in her cases in a really easy and natural way. When Nancy talks about her CASA visits, she always mentions something new that she's learned. Like recently when she told me how she was learning more about soccer because the boys in her case were playing on teams and she wanted to be able to understand more about the games that she was attending. Or in a past case that involved a child who was medically fragile, Nancy was diligent about learning about the child's medical diagnoses, treatments, medication, and long-term prognoses as part of her advocacy. Nancy also encourages curiosity in the children in her case by having them choose an adventure for one of their monthly visits. Their recent choices have included places such as the Spy Museum and Luray Caverns. I'm also struck by Nancy's ability to always rise above the drama and remain grounded, professional, focused, and calm. In her current 5-child case, which has been going on for almost 5 years, a relative was recently approved for placement of 3 of the 5 children. For the youngest child, this new and somewhat sudden placement created concern because he was placed in a foster home when he was 10 months old, and now he was 3. His foster parents were in many ways the only family he knew, and they had intended to adopt him. Nancy was the only consistent person the foster parents knew from the day that this child had been placed in their home, and they looked to her for information and to help them make sense of this sudden, heart-wrenching turn of events. And while Nancy felt the foster parents' pain and understood their confusion, she also kept an open mind. And of course, she remembered her CASA training, and she maintained boundaries and navigated complex confidentiality issues beautifully. This was not an easy task. However, Nancy recognized that this child was being placed with his family. So she rose above the drama and kept focused on the most important question: what is in this child's best interests? Outside of CASA work, Nancy finds time to enjoy hobbies such as hiking, reading, and her favorite, sailing, which she usually does out on the Chesapeake Bay. Nancy and her husband Dave also travel extensively. In fact, Nancy just returned a couple of days ago from a trip to Japan. She also loves spending time with her daughters and grandchildren. Nancy is also a tremendous ambassador for the CASA program. She's connected us to a local community organization to present about CASA and talked up the CASA program at her church. In fact, we have several people who have come to us and joined the ranks of Fairfax CASA thanks to Nancy's referrals. Nancy, thank you for your time, your heart, your grace, your curiosity and professionalism, and your unwavering advocacy. And congratulations on being our 2025 May Cook Heart of Gold Award recipient.